My name is Chuck Wibby. I live at 4569 South Meadow Drive in Boulder, Colorado. I am co-chair of the Boulder County Fairness and Road Maintenance Committee. BoCoFIRM is a citizens issue committee that is registered with the state of Colorado and was specifically formed to oppose Ballot Issue 5C, to oppose the formation of a local improvement district, and to work with the county to maintain and rehabilitate our roads through funds already paid to and available to the county, namely general revenue funds. Although there are numerous reasons to oppose the local improvement district, including 10,900 non-contiguous properties scattered throughout Boulder County defies the moniker local, Tabor considerations, the lack of public support over many years for the formation of an LID, the adverse impact on those who live in the LID area who are on fixed incomes, elderly, and or disabled, and E, the fact that we believe there are sufficient funds, and Commissioner, as you mentioned, the reserve fund. Well, the last time the county had a significant problem, the 2010 4 Mile Canyon fire, the unallocated reserve fund grew by $8 million in the next year. It went from $48 million to $56 million. And I know there's a lot of numbers that are involved in that, but we believe that there are plenty of funds available to accomplish the task that we're asking to do. But I will focus my comments today on two fundamental problems with the local improvement district. First, the costs associated with the LID are not supportable. And two, the life cycle used to develop the cost structure are inconsistent with industry standards. Both are fatal flaws in the structure of the LID. And we realize that we've been working on this for numerous years. And we are frankly shocked that it has got to this point with such fundamental flaws in the structure of both the PID and the LID. Let me talk about costs first. Since 2009, every single document published by the county on this issue had a lower cost for the local improvement district than for the public improvement district, until those published after July 23rd of this year that were published in support of Ballot Issue 5C. The history, 2009, $22.3 million, a 5-year project. 2010, $21 million, a $5 million project, and it was stated at that time that each year delay added $1.5 to $2 million to the cost of the district. 2012, $27 million for a 5-year project. June of this year, 2013, at a presentation given by Mr. Gerstel to the Subdivision Paving Work Group on June 19th, he stated unequivocally in that presentation that the total cost of the LID rehabilitation program was $60 million. That is $4 million less than that was published by the county 5 weeks later on July 23rd, when you published this document that outlines the cost of both the LID and the PID. All the costs published are a far cry from the $72 million that the county now says they need to be required to finance the local improvement district. We, Boulder County firm, believe that all of these costs are inaccurate and need to be corrected prior to the formation of the local improvement district. Two, the life cycle calculations that have been used by the county. Again, I'll reference this document that has been published in all the information going out in support of Issue 5C. The county has used a 15-year cycle that involves one chip seal and one overlay for lightly traveled subdivision roads every 15 years. This is a key component of the cost structure for both the PID and the LID, and it's simply inaccurate. The Federal Highway Administration long-term pavement project performance study shows most overlays last for 15 years and many lasted for over 20 years. A second example, I-25, more traveled than our subdivision streets, was constructed with asphalt in 1962. It received its first overlay 17 years later in 1979, its second overlay in 1994, 15 years later, and a third in 2007. So in nearly 50 years, I-25 has required rehabilitation on average once every 15 years. If you want further support of our position, look at your own funds that you spent last year to rehabilitate the primary roads. As my time is running short, I will urge you to stop this train wreck, to not approve today the formation of the LID, and to work with us and for the members of this community who want to work with the county on this to properly fix our roads using funds that are already available to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Greg Klinkel, you're up next. And folks, please no applause. The only reason we ask you to maintain your silence is there may be folks who have a differing opinion. We want them to feel comfortable coming up to the microphone.
Do you need me to give my name and address?
Yes, would you please?
Greg Klinkel, 7386 Park Place. I live in South Meadow and Gun Barrel. Hi, Cindy.
Hi there.
We've seen each other a number of times about this topic.
Yes.
I was raised a Democrat in South Dakota, a state where Republicans held a 2-to-1 advantage in voter registration. To win the election there, you had to work harder as a Democrat, and you had to have better ideas. My grandfather served a term as the chairman of the Democratic Party in South Dakota. My mother also served a term as vice chairwoman, and later she went on to be the first woman elected to the Public Utilities Commission in South Dakota. When George McGovern was first running for Congress, he would stay at my family's motel when he came through on a campaign swing. When there wasn't a vacancy, he slept in my bedroom. In 1968, my older brother ran the presidential primaries for Robert Kennedy in Wisconsin, New Mexico, and South Dakota. He was the second youngest delegate to the Chicago Convention, the Democratic National Convention that year, the year that police beat the anti-war demonstrators in the streets. When my older sister was in college in South Dakota, she met and married a fellow student, Tom Daschle. When Tom ran for Congress a few years later, it was my family's political connections that helped him earn the nomination. My sister served as President Obama's ambassador to Denmark until January of this year. I mention this only to demonstrate that my ties to the Democratic Party are long and deep. So you might think that I would be elated to live in Boulder County, a county that is controlled by the Democratic Party. But I see a county that is run by a shadow government and that marches to its own drumbeat, regardless of the opinions of its citizens. The issue of subdivision roads is a poster child for this malady. Your policy is on the wrong side of public opinion on this issue, and yet here we are. Most of us here understand that this hearing is a mere formality. Nothing that anyone says here will derail the train that's in motion, a train that was put in motion years ago. Those of us who are here to protest the lid today may not be beaten in the streets as the protesters were in Chicago in 1968, but our words will fall on deaf ears. A local improvement district is supposed to be in a defined neighborhood. A local improvement district that spans an entire county comprising disjoint subdivisions separated by miles and miles. What a joke. I live in Gun Barrel. Jamestown is not in my neighborhood. Neither is Palo Park or Lake Valley or Spanish Hills. Our shadow government took the steps necessary to change the state regulations that govern LIDs, specifically to allow this perversion of local improvement districts. What you want is $3.3 million in additional annual tax revenue that you don't have to share with the cities. That money will come out of the pockets of 10,000 property owners that you consider to be easy marks. No matter how you slice this, or how you justify the additional revenue source represented by these assessments, the first 15 years of degradation of these streets is on you. You were negligent in your management of these roads, and you should pay at least half of the costs over the next 15 years. You have placed before the voters a fool's choice between a PID and a lid, as if they represent the only two possibilities. I offer you a similar choice. Either abandon this countywide lid, or demonstrate that you are just playing your roles as conductors on this train. Thank you.
Thank you.